So
off.
the bowl is always just gonna sit right on here.
Oh my.
Now, one of the things, this wasn't cleaned that long ago. On your list, you're going to see that on the tearing down of the machine, I recommend wiping this down every single time because it builds up very, very quickly.
Yeah, it appears that way. You can come over this way.
Yep. And Melissa has seen it too, squeeze, or she actually hasn't done this. This is a new one for her as well.
Oh,
So this should be done every time. Right?
If you, yeah, we get a little bit crazy here, and we're trying to implement a lot of these procedures for us as well. It's not going to do any damage to the machine. When you
It
go to
looks
do
gross.
it, it's gross. Yeah, honestly, there's nothing wrong. It's not a spoilage product. You know, there's no
That's true.
health hazard with it. It's just,
it's
and
just
I will
a
tell you,
icky mess.
you look at any other cotton candy machine in the wild outside, it looks worse than this. So this is pretty simple. You will get this as well, or some version of a nut and a driver. Basically, everything is hand tightened.
So there's no real
Nope.
cranking down
Nope.
and torque.
You don't need a drill or anything like that. Now, sometimes you are going to get it where it sticks. Let me get in here real quick.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah. So usually what I try to do is I get it loose right to the end and then take it off with my fingers so I don't run into this problem because I'm talking and I totally forgot about it. All right. So these are called leather floaters.
Okay.
Okay.
You will eventually need to get additional of them, and we can get those for you. What this does, it creates a wind funnel to keep the cotton candy down and towards the outside mesh. Okay?
Okay.
Now, one of the things, if you talk to someone who's ever made cotton candy before, they're going to probably tell you you don't need to do certain things, you do need to do certain things. Stick with our process because remember, we are not making normal cotton candy.
Right.
So we have to clean a significant more amount of times. We're putting a lot more stress on the normal production because our ingredients are so much richer. And then I just usually throw everything in here. Okay.
How long does the machine last?
Where is, I have, not this one, I have another one of these. They don't go bad, just certain parts tend to fail. We've got them that have been going well over a year.
Okay.
So you should, if you're cleaning them consistently, you should get years out of it.
Okay.
And a lot of the parts are replaceable. So like this one went down a few months ago and we were able to get a replacement,
It was a heater.
it was a heater unit, where it was the power for the heater unit or whatever it is, and it was a super easy swap out. And it was under warranty, so we got that free of charge. If not, it's like $60 to
Oh, so
replace
it's
it.
not real bad.
No, it's not. So obviously we're dealing with sticky.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are gonna have to tap some of the stuff off. So now that we're inside of here, this is basically a cover plate. These are nylon nuts. These are done by hand. So you don't need to use any kind of a nut driver on this as well. Those come off, that just pulls right off. Okay, so this is the inside of your unit. Now, one of the things you're gonna see is the significant buildup in there. That is because of our ingredients. Now, when Melissa gets into production, she'll go over burn-offs and that kind of stuff. But even with proper traditional burn-off techniques, you are gonna have an abnormal amount of burn or buildup.
Okay.
And that's just because of the richness of our product.
That was less than 60 tubs right there.
Yeah.
Less than
Wow.
60
That's,
tubs.
wow.
Also, certain flavors have more buildup than others.
Okay.
Pumpkin spice, which you will see is not on your approved list. One of those reasons is that. So basically, we can get 6 to 10 tubs out of pumpkin spice before we completely lose the machine.
Then you gotta tear it down,
Yep.
clean it.
So this-
6 to 10 tubs, that's it?
Yeah, that's why pumpkin spices, we don't really
Wow.
do very
I
much of
like
it. We're trying to see if we can find a way to get the flavor without it, but we've not been able to yet. So these nuts inside are a little bit different size, so you'll have a secondary nut driver for that, but it's the same thing. Nothing has to be super tight. Just got a nice, you want to get it, especially this one, because this is where the electrical connection is being made. And you can see, even though we got a ton of buildup on the outside, you can see that the top plate is relatively clean. And that's because, you know, a lot of the buildup goes into the coil. Okay, so we've gotten our 2 nuts off. Once again, you usually have to do a little bit of tapping to get this off. There we go.
That sugar bomb.
So here is the coil mesh unit or screen unit once it's all said and done. That's just all sugar. And you can also see, that we've done a lot of different flavors.
Yeah.
So once again, we'll go into this a little bit more about burn off. But one of the things when we get to production planning is planning out your production day.
Yeah.
You don't want to run ghost pepper first. So
Just like you don't want to sample it first.
well, that's true too. So we tend to go, well, we'll get into that when we get to that point. So here's your full unit. Now this is obviously a gunky mess. When we go to wash it, we're gonna soak it with hot water. Once it gets a lot of that buildup, then we're gonna remove this from each other. But we'll get to that in the next step. So there is your unit. Once again, it would be nice if it was a little bit cleaner, but this kind of stuff is totally normal. It's not going to impact production whatsoever.